Number 3. Your interpretation of Howard the Duck betrays how bad you are at interpreting anything. You completely miss the fact that Howard the Duck doesn't present eggs or mothers as themes or characters. You're not attempting to make up a deeper meaning based on things in the movie. You're adding whatever you need in order to make your ridiculous meaning fit, which, by the way, is intellectually dishonest. But what's more is that once again your interpretation could apply to any movie ever because, oh, I don't know, humans come from eggs too, they do, and humans also have mothers, and pretty much all movies take place on Earth, so therefore Caddyshack is
actually a very profound existential look at how the Earth takes care of us from birth to death, even when we mistreat it.
For further information, see Reason 2. Number 4. Your hypothesis is demonstrably false, Matthew. People don't write their master thesis on Howard the Duck. People don't teach and attend classes on Howard the Duck. People don't debate whether or not Howard the Duck has a deeper philosophical meaning. And Howard the Duck did not affect filmmaking in any way. What movie did affect filmmaking and is argued about philosophically, and people do write their theses on, and do teach classes on, and do attend classes on? 2001. Fuck. Number 5. Since your hypothesis can be proven to be false, it therefore validates the very point you're trying to oppose. That people don't debate the meaning of Howard the Duck, and yet they do debate the meaning of 2001, is positive proof that 2001 does have deeper meaning. And finally, number 6. And this one's my favorite. How dare you, sir, say that Howard the Duck is a shitty movie? What, am I not allowed to like it simply because it has been unfairly labeled as officially bad? Is it some kind of taboo or heresy for me to like Howard the Duck? I, unlike you, good sir, am no longer participating in such criticism taboos. How dare you? Alright, you see what I did there, Matthew? I can now use that against you at my leisure. But hey, don't worry about it. Since it's not actually an argument or a thing that exists, you can just ignore me when I do. Okay, returning for a moment to your statement earlier that in the online information you looked at, there were some common themes, but it's very telling that you fail to mention what these common themes are out loud. And then you move on real quick because, just like so many times before, you must have known that on some level, if you were to list these common themes, you'd look like a fool for sticking to the it's about nothing critique that you're so invested in. Here, I'll list them for you. Were they, I don't know, maybe evolution, God, an encounter with a superior intelligence, the alien influence on evolution, the dual nature of man and technology, reincarnation, humanity's place in the universe, interstellar travel via wormholes, is there consciousness after death, This is quite the profound list of themes for a movie about nothing, Matthew. And also, doesn't that list of common themes look a tad familiar? Oh, that's right. 2001 opened the floodgates for science fiction to be able to attempt to explore such themes without having to worry about alienating audiences. Before 2001, sci-fi was completely campy, revolving entirely around silver saucers and green aliens with ray guns. After 2001, you get Solaris, and Blade Runner, and Alien, and Star Wars, and Westworld, and Dune, and on and on and on. And all of them owing their existence either directly or indirectly to the sea change that 2001 represented. It seems very odd, Matthew, that the entire movie industry and science fiction as a whole would notice the meaning of 2001 while you sit perplexed. And now we move on to Jurassic Park. You gotta be fucking kidding.
Jurassic Park was a very strong warning story about science for the sake of science, about our complacency in the face of scientific achievements, and how monkeying with nature inevitably brings us down. You do not need a guide to understand this. The movie is telling you this. The movie is about this.
Alright, first of all, I and a whole lot of other people don't and never did need a guide to understand 2001. You do. Second, and more importantly, you're making my point for me, Matthew. Just as with Gattaca before, Jurassic Park answers all of the moral questions it asks neatly by the end. It does not challenge its audience in any way, like, say, a movie like The Usual Suspects does. At the end of that movie, the only question that comes close to being answered is that the character of Verbal was probably Kaiser Soze, but even that is left a little bit ambiguous, and the audience is left to wonder what was real at all in that film. It's up to the audience. This is why it's considered brilliant, Matthew.
It's a popular misunderstanding among those who don't particularly care for my reviews that I want a movie to spell everything out for me and hold my hand every step of the way. The truth is that I actually like it when a movie makes you work to understand what's going on. The Sixth Sense, for example.
Oh, I know precisely what you mean, Matthew. I mean, people have this bizarre misconception of me that I possess an extensive vocabulary. I mean, wherever could they glean such an erroneous concept from? Dude, seriously, the reason people think that about you is because that's how you come across in your friggin' reviews. I mean, like, just look at the list of movies that you've mentioned in this one review in order to prove your case. And you top it off with The Sixth Sense? What exactly did you have to work to understand in the movie The Sixth Sense, Matthew? Did you have to work to understand that the kid could see ghosts? No, they tell you. Did you have to work to understand that Bruce Willis was a therapist? No, they tell you. Did you have to work to understand that cold means ghosts are near? No, they tell you. Did you have to work to understand that Bruce Willis was a ghost? No, they tell you. I mean, they tell you at the end, it's a surprise, but that's about it. And since he and his wife never actually interacted the entire film, the only answer that actually changes is that she's taking Zoloft because she's in mourning and not because her marriage is breaking up. That's it. Oh, and also, there are no moral or philosophical questions at all in the movie. I mean, what moral dilemma could possibly come from it? Maybe I shouldn't report my neighbor as beating his kid because, oh, I don't know, maybe ghosts are causing the bruises. Good lord, man. Work. And so now you close with what I'm sure you thought was your coup de grace. Let's roll it.
The following is a quote from Arthur C. Clarke, the co-writer of this film. If you understand 2001 completely, we failed. We wanted to raise far more questions than we answered.
What you're doing here, Matthew, is called quote mining. You found a random quote that you thought proved your case, took it out of context, interpreted it to mean what you wanted it to mean, and then said narny nar nar. Two can play at that game, Matthew. Arthur C. Clarke also once said, when asked what 2001 is about, and I quote, 2001 is about evolution. And then there was this little thing called a period at the end of the sentence. Wow, that really doesn't leave much room for your claim that the writers didn't know what the movie was about, does it? Clarke was a writer, and Clarke is quite clear. It was about evolution. Narny nar nar. You see how unfair that is, Matthew? Also, you ignore the key word in the quote that you chose, which was completely. Of course it cannot be understood completely. It's an allegory for the unknowable, an encounter with a post-singularity intelligence or God, and the unobservable. Evolution by natural selection. I mean, how the fuck would you suggest exactly a filmmaker go about telling a story that covers such themes? Oh, wait, I know. With a spoon.